Everything going well? So well. It's excellent. We appreciate I'm Carol today.
It is her. That I've been carrying for 10 years. But yeah, I put it on. It's all shared. It's tough to find that. thought there was only one name. If he's the right person, I always fear the opinion when we don't like searches. Yes, exactly. And that's just, I felt like this was a repeat of that. I was like, but no, my mom's birthday is tomorrow, so I'm going to Houston in the morning. Yeah, and so I had to miss it, which is why I wasn't on the search committee, because I know I was going to go at the same time. Yes, so we're going to, I don't know, do you know the viral restaurant Bungalow in Houston? It's like this really nice dinner place. So I'm taking her to Bungalow, and I invited a few of her friends, so I made reservations for like 8 people. Hi, how are you? Good. Me too. When I got these. Yeah, and now they're trying to move it to March, and I'm like, my schedule this year, my schedule's bad. I'm getting called in 2 different places, so I'm gonna miss like half the meetings. I think I'm able to come to like every other one or something like that. But like my March is horrible. I texted, well, sent the email to the meeting last night. I was like, can you please let me know? Because I'm gonna have to like move my clinic or something if everybody's on. Because I'm the chair of that committee. Yeah, so I'm like, but that's she's like, I'm not gonna see her. Oh wow! Like this, like gossip search, right? Good morning. Hi, good morning. How are you? Board members I have not met. Good morning, Chris. How are you? Yeah, no problem. How are you? Great to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Excited about it.
Yeah.
I think you'll be a great addition. When you're going off to make it the following. Hey, good morning.
Well, that's what I was trying to decide, but I don't know. I just saw this again where my husband's like last year I traveled too much, so he came with me this time to like travel. Okay. And I'm trying not to travel so much, but there was still things. Exactly.
Good morning. Thank all of you for being here, and we certainly appreciate the McNeese community welcoming us to this new building on your campus as we work through the board's business of the day. Today's meeting of the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana system is now called to order. Eric, if you would please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Barry Busada, Mr. Steve Davison. Here. Mr. Ronald Hogan.
Here.
Mr. Lee Jackson. Dr. Joe Leatherman.
Present.
Mr. Keith Myers.
Here.
Miss Maria Nachiva.
Here.
Dr. John Noble. Mr. Al Perkins. Mr. Dana Peterson. Miss Elizabeth Pierre.
Present.
Mr. Mark Romero.
Here.
Miss Christine Russell.
Here.
Mr. Robert Saline.
Here.
Mr. Brad Stevens.
Here.
Miss Julie Stokes. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Erica. At this time, I've asked President Gallo to lead us in the invocation, following the invocation, Supervisor Russell will lead us in the pledge.
Everyone would bow with me. Lord, we just thank you for today. We thank you for bringing us all together in this beautiful new building here on the campus of McNeese State University. Lord, we just ask for a hedge of protection around not only our students here at McNeese, but all around the University of Louisiana system, our faculty, our staff, all of our stakeholders, alumni, everyone. Lord, we just thank you for being with us today as we go about carrying on the business of the University of Louisiana system. Lord, please guide and protect us and lead us in the direction you'd have us go. All these things we ask in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we begin today's business, I'd like to thank Dr. Kedrick Nichols, interim president of McNeese State University, and the entire campus community for welcoming the board and giving us the opportunity to meet here in the Elizabeth and Leslie Richard Student Union. Dr. Nichols, thank you again for your leadership during this important time. We certainly respect and appreciate the efforts you're putting forth to shepherd McNeese through a good, successful spring semester, and certainly look forward to your hosting us as we start a president's research in the very coming months. At this time, if you would, I would invite you to make some brief comments.
Chair Romero, President Gallo, members of the boards of supervisors, and representatives from our sister institutions. On behalf of the McNeese State University students, faculty, staff, and the executive leadership team, I welcome you to McNeese State University, the place where we proclaim to be a first-choice university, providing excellence with a personal touch, and where we ride for the brand. When you provided me with the honor to serve as interim president in November, I was charged with keeping the ball of momentum rolling. Well, as you may have the vibe by now, not only has the ball kept rolling, but if I liken it to a snowball rolling down the side of the Rocky Mountains in the middle of December, the ball has not only kept rolling, it has grown and picked up speed along the way. This is not solely because of me, but it is also because of this campus community of dedicated administrators, committed faculty and staff, and a second-to-none student body. We have and will continue to pursue wins. Please direct your attention to the projector screen.
You don't get wins by accident. McNeese has been putting in the work, investing in our programs, our students, and our community. And the scoreboard tells the story. With the largest increase in spring enrollment in 16 years, and a 50% increase in the growth of the number of first-time freshmen who persist in the spring semester. Student success is our top priority. Find your breakthrough at McNeese. Go Vote.
So how is this momentum and excitement generated? Well, we all know the phrase, numbers don't lie. The spring 2026 semester marks the fourth consecutive semester of enrollment growth, with growth percentages increasing each semester. Most importantly, through homegrown initiatives such as our Center for Learning and Student Success, which is a modular hub of academic and student support services, along with our federal grant-funded first-year experience program, we have increased our year-over-year retention numbers for the fall to spring term, including a 7.7% growth in continuing student enrollment. This is 4.6 higher than this time last year. We are an operationally efficient and financially stable institutions. Two identities imperative in the current climate of higher education sustainability. We are lean but strong. We are a white-collar workforce with a blue-collar mentality. McNeese understands how to grind. And speaking of the grind, our strategic plan completed near the end of the 2024 calendar year and executed beginning in the 2025 calendar year shapes our approach towards institutional success through 4 goals that you see on the screen. Each of these goals has at least 3 key performance indicators that support the overarching ideas. Now, we all know in higher education, we can push out strategic plans like crawfish farmers push out sacks of crawfish when they are in season. But in my McNeese professional experience, whether intended or not, I have not seen much accountability and transparency concerning progress towards achieving a plan. This is why at the end of last calendar year, I worked with our executive leadership team to build a progress report that was released a couple of weeks ago and publicly displays our successes and honestly and transparently exhibits where we can improve. The plan is for this report to be released annually through the life of the strategic plan. I'd like to highlight that built into our strategic plan is a focus on expanding support for faculty and staff. One of the performance indicators centers on enhancing professional development experiences. You remember I mentioned that we are an operationally efficient institution. Well, here is an element of proof. Instead of hiring expensive facilitators, we are using internal expertise to cultivate the next generation of McNeese mid-level and senior leaders through our Leadership Circle program, a 6-month immersive experience led by myself and members of the executive leadership team. The appetite for this on-campus programming was proven by receiving 49 applications for just 12 spots, which we expanded to 15 spots because of how competitive the submissions were. Some of you were here for our grand opening festivities for the Reshore Student Union yesterday, but McNeese is not done with monumental grand openings this semester. In April, we will be opening our LNG Center of Excellence, which will be a neutral hub for liquefied natural gas research, education, workforce development, and networking. It will also be the home to the federal agency PHMSA's National Center of Excellence for LNG Safety. We are proud to announce that during a trip to the Windy City of Chicago, Illinois last month, we solidified a partnership with GTI Energy, as you see in the photos, to establish what will be the only formalized LNG post-baccalaureate certificate in the world. The program will expand to include an LNG minor for our undergraduate engineering students. McNeese is meeting the demands of a booming industry and positioning our graduates to be competitive in their workforce aspirations. I'd like you to see a very brief video that highlights the partnership efforts with GTI Energy.
The liquefied natural gas industry is evolving faster than ever.
New facilities, new technologies, and new expectations demand a workforce that is prepared, skilled, and ready on day one.
To To meet this challenge, GTI Energy and McNeese State University are partnering through the Liquefied Natural Gas Center of Excellence in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Together, we are working to develop a new, industry-driven liquefied natural gas training program designed to support today's workforce and tomorrow's leaders.
The program will be built using modern learning technologies, short online lessons, micro video instruction, interactive models, and scenario-based learning grounded in real-world operations.
Industry partners play a critical role, helping guide curriculum development, sharing expertise, and investing in their future workforce.
Join us as a sponsor and help build the next generation of liquefied natural gas professionals.
Contact GTI Energy or McNeese State University now to learn more about becoming a sponsor.
Another campus highlight concerns our McNeese Team Store, which has made a year old this month. It has been a success story for what a modernized facility and contemporary operations can do for a campus. I am proud to say that our Team Store, which carries books, supplies, and branded merchandise, is completely internally operated, no third-party involvement, which contributes to a more personal connection to students and community customers. The recent success of the operation is proven with the report of a year-over-year net revenue growth by 120% as of January 2026. With that said, I'd like to present each of you with a couple of items from the McNeese Team Store as a token of our hospitality and appreciation for you visiting our campus. And as they are distributed, I'd like to say it's all Louisiana Board of Ethics approved. It has the McNeese logo on every item inside the bag. So despite everything mentioned thus far, none of it is possible without the faces you see on this slide. This is the heartbeat of our campus, the students. McNeese understands that students must remain our primary focus. We must give them a voice and a platform for us to know how we can be better and how we can continuously adapt to their needs. It is imperative that we go above and beyond to serve them and prepare them for life beyond college. An example of our above and beyond efforts is another homegrown, low-cost, and operationally efficient program. Our Care Mentorship Program provides students with one-to-one educational and personal guidance from a volunteer pool of employees who sign up to be mentors. On this slide, you are seeing me and my mentee for the 2025-2026 school year, Bryce Delafosse, a first-time freshman who was not raised by his parents, but has an eagerness to learn life skills he didn't learn as a child. It is my honor to serve as a male role model he didn't have the fortune to have inside his childhood home. The unsuspecting thing about mentorship and mentoring an individual from Gen Z is that Bryce makes me a better person as much as I contribute to him. I encourage you to remain abreast of McNeese's continued momentum by following the McNeese Prez account on Facebook and X social media outlets. From meetings with external stakeholders, community outreach, promotion of campus programs, telling success stories, and more, it is all captured and published online for the world to have a glimpse of our campus's progress. In closing, our campus is honored to have you all here today. And while I don't believe we have any McNeese alumni on the ULS board, today you are all honorary members of the McNeese community. I invite you to join me and our family as we end all speaking engagements by saying, "Go Pokes." Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nicholas. Very exciting things going on over here in the Calcasieu Republic. At this time, board members, you've received the minutes from our most recent December, January meetings. If you have any questions or comments related to those minutes, please state them at this time. If not, if I could have a motion second to approve. Moved by Supervisor Russell. Second. Second by Supervisor Davison. Any questions or comments? Any comments from the public? All in favor? Motion passes. Today we'll meet as a committee of the whole and we'll deliberate business for each relative committee in this manner. Chair Myers will address the athletic committee at this time.
Good morning. We have 11 action items on the athletic committee agenda. Mr. Bruce Janet, Executive Director of Facilities, Risk Management, and Athletics will provide the report. Mr. Janet?
Thank you so much, Supervisor Myers. Item F1 from F2 come from Grambling. Approval of a contractual amendment with Travion Scott, who's the Vice President of Intercollegiate Athletics, and a contract with Robert Mickey Joseph, who's the head football coach. Item F3 to F7, Louisiana Tech, approval of contractual amendments with Ryan Ivy, Vice President and Director of Athletics, and Sonny Conby, head football coach. Approval of a contract with Matt Lodge, who's the head coach of women's soccer at Louisiana Tech. Contracts with assistant soccer coaches, Stephanie Starr and Greg Palmer. And finally, contracts with assistant volleyball coaches, Abby Pollard and Rianne Hicks. Items F8 to F10 come from McNeese, requesting approval of contract with Alexis Cable, head soccer coach, Taylor Gray, head indoor volleyball coach, and James Landreneau, head women's softball coach. Finally, item F11 is from Northwestern, requesting approval of a contractual amendment with Ian Brophy, who's the head women's soccer coach. At this time, Supervisor Myers, these are all the consent items and staff recommends approval.
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Janet. If no one requires further clarification, I would like to recommend approval of items F1 through F11. May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second. Second. Okay, moved by Supervisor Salim, second by Supervisor Hogan. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Any comments from the public? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Is there any other business to come before the committee at this time?
No, sir, I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay, the next item to be considered are audit.
Thank you, Chair Myers. This time Supervisor Pierre will lead the audit committee.
Good morning. We have one consent item and one discussion item on the audit committee today, agenda for today. Mr. Fernando Cordova will provide a brief overview.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Pierre, and good morning, members of the board, Chair Romero, President Gallo. Item G1 is a request for approval by the University of Louisiana System of the revised system board operations and campus annual internal audit plans for fiscal year 2025 to 2026. The board originally approved the system-wide internal audit plans for this fiscal year on August 28th, 2025. Since that time, several personnel changes have occurred within the institutional offices of internal audit. Additionally, due to ongoing risk assessments conducted by our offices, new risk priorities and shifting resource requirements were identified. As a result, the original internal audit plans were amended for the remainder of fiscal year 2025-2026 and made available to you on onboard. Item G1 has been reviewed by staff and is recommended for approval. Supervisor Pierre.
Thank you for the presentation. If any member has a question or wishes to discuss the item, please let me know. If no one requires any further clarification of this consent agenda item, may I have a motion and a second to approve item H1?
Make a motion to approve H1.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Stevens, second by Supervisor Nachiva. Are there any questions from the board? Any comment from the public? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. That motion passes.
Item G2 is a discussion item. It is the University of Louisiana System Report on internal and external audit activity for the period of November 21st, 2025 to February 5th, 2026. The listing of internal and external reports completed by various auditors since the last audit committee meeting has been made available in Onboard. Also included in that audit summary are internal audits that are currently in progress and a follow-up timetable to ensure recommendations made in prior reports are implemented. This is a report only, and no action by the board is necessary. This concludes the presentation of the audit committee agenda items. Supervisor Pierre.
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Cordova. If any member has a question or wishes to discuss this item, please let me know. Okay, hearing none, is there any other business to come before the committee at this time? If not, that concludes the business of the audit committee. We will next consider facilities planning.
Thank you, Supervisor Pierre. Supervisor Davidson will address items under the facilities.
We have 7 items on the Facilities Planning Committee agenda. Mr. Bruce Janay, Executive Director of Facilities, Risk Management, and Athletics, will provide the report. Mr. Janay.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Davidson. Item H1 is from Louisiana Tech. Consent item, approval to sell approximately 30 acres of land located in Caddo Parish to the Caddo Parish School Board, subject to legislative approval and in accordance with applicable state law governing the transfer of state-owned immovable property. The Caddo Parish School Board has leased the property since 2019 and currently utilizes the site for their educational purposes. The university has reviewed the strategic utility of the property and determined that it is in best interest of the university to convey the property to Caddo Parish School Board. An appraisal of the property estimates the value of approximately $1,940,000. Following board approval, Louisiana Tech will seek authorization from the Louisiana legislature to convey the property. Item H2 is from Nichols. Approval to enter into a land lease with the Nichols State University Foundation pursuant to state law to explore opportunities to develop approximately 19 acres of university property for potential revenue generating endeavors. The university will grant a 5-year period for revenue opportunities to be identified. Should a viable opportunity be identified, the university will amend the lease period and identify revenue lease payments for the university to receive. The lease will terminate at the end of the 5-year period should an opportunity not arise. Item H3 is from University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Approval to name Antoon Clubhouse and Our Lady of Lourdes Health Sciences Education Center. Dr. Ramesh Kallaru, interim president, has provided detailed justification to support this request as required by our board rule for naming. Item H4 from University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Approval to sell the Fraternity House building and all fixtures located on Lot 4 floor Fraternity Road, the Parish of Lafayette to Etna New Alumni Association in accordance with our PPM on sale of immovable property. The proposed price is approximately $111,000. Item H5 is also from University of Louisiana at Lafayette, requesting approval to advertise an auction for sale various properties in accordance with our PPM, again, sale of immovable property. There's 4 structures that they'd like to sell: 509 East University Avenue, 703 Thoroughbred Drive, W.J. Bernard Drive in St. Martinville, And finally, 518 Robert Lee Circle in Lafayette. Following approval of the board and receipt of the MIA appraisal, the university will be seeking permission from both the House and Senate Natural Resources Committee for approval of the sale. They will publicize the sale, then conduct a public auction. The appraisal value will establish the minimum bid. The university further requested to be authorized to sell and execute sale documents should bids be received at auction above the appraised value. Item H6 is from University of Louisiana at Monroe. Request approval to accept a donation of the laboratory facility for the ULM School of Construction Management from the University of Louisiana Monroe Facilities Incorporated. A copy of the State of Louisiana Act of Donation form between ULM and University of Louisiana Monroe Facilities Incorporated will be forwarded to board staff and legal counsel upon execution of the donation. Finally, item H7, University of Louisiana at Monroe, approval to enter into a ground and facilities lease agreement with ULM Facilities Incorporated to construct a new Emily Williamson Child Development Center pursuant to state law. In October of 2022, an electrical fire caused the facility to burn and was deemed a total loss. The new facility planned for construction is going to be approximately 4,200 square feet and contains room for infants through pre-K 4-year-olds. The ULM Facilities Incorporated anticipates total funding for the project will be approximately $1,915,000. The cost of the new building will come from private donations and insurance proceeds due to the fire damage claim. This is all the items I have, Supervisor Davidson, and staff recommends approval. And if you have any particular questions, I have asked the presidents to come forward if you have any questions.
Thank you, Bruce. Does anyone need further clarification on any of these items? If not, I would recommend approval of items H1 through H7. Do I have a motion and a second? Moved by Myers, second by Stevens. Any other questions or comments from the board or the public? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Any other business to come before the committee at this time? So next is finance.
Thank you, Steve. Chair Hogan will now address the Finance Committee.
Thank you. We have 6 agenda items on the Finance Committee agenda. Mr. Eddie Mesh, Vice President for Business and Finance, and Ms. Ashley McIntyre, Assistant Vice President for Financial Reporting and Analysis, will provide the report.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Item I-1, University of Louisiana's request for approval to allow for a student referendum to reallocate the Lacadian yearbook student self-assessed fee. The current Lacadian yearbook fee is assessed to students enrolled in 12 or more credit hours. The UL Lafayette Student Government Association proposes a referendum to be placed for a student vote to reallocate the existing $12 per year fee as follows. $9 per year to the Lacadian yearbook to be assessed for students enrolled in 12 or more credit hours. $2 per year to support the university's counseling and testing center as a new fee to be assessed to all students enrolled in 12 or more credit hours. $1 per year to support the UL Police Department to be assessed to all students enrolled in 12 or more credit hours. This fee would be added to an existing $1 UL Police Department fee, which is assessed to all students regardless of enrolled hours. The referendum would be placed on the spring 2026 election ballot. I-2, University of New Orleans request for approval to amend its meal services contract with Chartwells to allow unused and forfeited privateer bucks to be returned to UNO. The University of New Orleans proposes an amendment to its contract with Chartwells to allow unused and forfeited private bucks to be returned to UNO. Under the current contract, Chartwells retains these funds. Given the significant dollar amount involved, UNL requests to be returned these funds to be applied as a credit to offset the amount owed to Chartwells for the spring 2026 semester. For the period spanning from 2016 through spring 2024, the total accumulated forfeited privateer bucks equal approximately 1.7 million. Of this amount, 1.3 million would be returned to UNO, with the remaining balance retained by Chartwells. The disposition of the forfeited privateer bucks from the fall 24 forward will be addressed in future discussions. I3, University of Louisiana System's request for approval to establish LEQSF endowed professorships and endowed scholarships. In 1989, the Louisiana legislature created the Louisiana Education Quality Support Fund, referred to as 8G, which provides for multiple $20,000, $40,000, and $400,000 grants to be awarded upon receipt of $80,000, $60,000, and $600,000 in private donations for the establishment of endowed professorships, first-generation scholarships, graduate scholarships, and endowed chairs, respectively. The law further requires the appropriate managed board authorize the establishment of such endowments prior to submission to Board of Regents for matching funds. Louisiana Tech has submitted 1 endowed professorship. UL Lafayette has submitted 3 endowed professorships, and UNO has submitted 3 endowed professorships for establishment.
Item I4 is the University of Louisiana System's report of fiscal year 26 second quarter financial reports and ongoing assurances. Campuses have submitted their second quarter financial reports to the system office. As we discussed in our last board meeting, these reports are the primary tool we use to monitor financial health and identify campuses that may be at critical financial risk. While some reports are still under review, our analysis has already confirmed that several campuses are at critical risk. These include Louisiana Tech, the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and the University of Louisiana at Monroe. The list of financial triggers that place each of these campuses in the critical risk category has already been provided to board members for your reference. Under policy, when a campus is identified as being at critical risk, it triggers a meeting between campus leadership and the system office to address the situation. At this time, we have already met with Louisiana Tech and received a deficit elimination plan, which we will monitor quarterly for progress. Additionally, meetings with ULM and ULL are being scheduled to review their financial challenges and outline next steps for improvement. Now I'll transition to the presentation of the second quarter financial information submitted by the campuses, focusing on notable trends and areas of concern. The reports will be on the screen, and they were also provided to you in onboard. So the first slide is a prior to current year comparison of operating fund revenues through the second quarter of this fiscal year and last fiscal year. General fund revenues increased by about $33 million, and this is mostly due to an accelerated drawdown request at ULL and an increase in one-time appropriations received by UNO at the beginning of the year. General registration fees increased by about $100 million from the prior year, and this is caused by the Act 790 increase in tuition and fees and also increases in enrollment system-wide. The increase is also attributable to the fact that previously 2 of our campuses were reporting spring registration revenues in the third quarter of the financial report, while others reported it in the second quarter, which is consistent with the timing of their spring registrations. This year, to align with billing practices and to ensure consistency across our campuses, those 2 schools have included spring registration in the second quarter report. On the next slide is a prior to current year comparison of operating fund expenses by function through the second quarter. Scholarships and fellowships expense increased by $8 million or 11%, which is reasonable and consistent with the increase in tuition and fees and enrollment. Operations and maintenance of plant expense increased by $7.5 million, primarily because ULL shifted from making single annual Office of Risk Management payments in the fall to making quarterly payments now. The next slide is also a prior to current year comparison of expenses, but by object. The $9.1 million decrease in operating services expense is primarily due to ULL's change in timing of their Office of Risk Management payments, and the scholarship and fellowships expenses are charged to other charges and interagency expense. So the $11.3 million increase is reasonable and consistent with that explanation. The next slide shows the auxiliary and athletic revenues, expenses, and changes in fund balances projected through the end of the fiscal year by campus. In the bottom row, starting in the second column, you'll see that campuses expect approximately $289 million in revenues, $327 million in expenses, and $14 million in net transfers in, which would result in an overall current year deficit of approximately $24 million and an ending negative fund balance or deficit of approximately $69 million. The highlighted amounts in the second to last column shows that 7 universities are projecting an overall current year deficit. The highlighted amounts in the last column show that Louisiana Tech, ULL, and ULM are projecting significant overall auxiliaries fund balance deficits, and when combined, those 3 deficits total over $103 million. The surpluses at other campuses offset those deficit amounts for the total overall system projected deficit of $69 million. While this second quarter projection does provide a very slight improvement from the first quarter, campuses must take additional steps to align their auxiliaries athletic budgets with available resources. The next slide is titled Non-Operating Funds, and it provides a summary of each campus's financial activity outside of the operating fund. These are projected amounts through the end of fiscal year 26. These funds are categorized as restricted or unrestricted. Restricted non-operating funds include statutory dedications, state, federal, and private grants, restricted student fees, and other restricted sources. Unrestricted non-operating funds include auxiliary, enterprises, athletics, and unrestricted sources. Row 9 of this report shows the total projected revenues by campus. Row 17 shows projected expenses. Row 18 shows projected transfers, and row 19 shows the results of this activity, which is the current year surplus or deficit. The yellow highlights in row 19 shows that 5 campuses are experiencing current year deficits or revenue shortfalls that will require the use of reserves. Additionally, row 26 shows that ULL and ULM expect to end the year with negative unrestricted reserves, and row 27 shows that ULM is projecting a total negative reserve balance. We have begun to monitor universities' monthly cash balances and especially their days cash on hand. The days cash on hand presented on the next slide is calculated by dividing cash balances by the average daily expenses, which are projected expenses in this case. The red highlights indicate that a campus only has 15 days or less worth of cash on hand to finance operations. The pink or salmon color represents 30 days or less, and the orange color represents 60 days or less. The top section shows unrestricted cash, while the bottom section shows total cash, which includes both restricted and unrestricted. This report shows that some universities are already experiencing unrestricted and total cash flow constraints, and others are approaching that point. As we move forward, the system office remains committed to working closely with each campus to ensure financial stability and long-term sustainability. We will continue to monitor progress, provide support where needed, and keep the board informed of any significant developments. This concludes the fiscal year 26 second quarter financial report, and this is a report only and no action by the board is necessary. The next agenda item is I-5, and it's the University of Louisiana System's financial status of alternatively financed projects for the 6 months ended December 31st, 2025. In your materials and on the screen, you'll see the reports I'll be discussing. Alternatively financed projects are facility construction projects that are financed and constructed by campus-affiliated nonprofit corporations, like foundations and facility corporations. Universities lease their land to the nonprofits, and the nonprofits finance and construct the facilities and then lease the completed facilities back to the universities for their use. In many cases, the nonprofits will incur debt to finance these projects, and campus facility lease payments finance the bond payments. Semi-annually, campuses report the financial status of these projects to the system. Campuses report results of operations and debt coverage ratios of their projects. A debt coverage ratio of 1.0 would indicate that operations funded just enough to make debt payments with no excess funds. These projects are reported as either student housing projects or non-student housing projects. The first slide presents the financial activity for student housing projects for fiscal year 26. The first column shows that campuses budgeted student housing revenues of approximately $81.7 million, expenses of $32 million, annual debt obligations of $35.9, and a debt coverage ratio of 1.3 before considering subordinated costs. The second column shows the actual activity through December 31st, and the actual debt coverage ratio as of December 31st was slightly higher than the budgeted amount at 1.7 for all campuses. The next slide shows the housing financial activity through December 31st by campus, and you can see that ULM and UNO housing projects both had a ratio of only 0.5 as of December 31st, but this is expected because the majority of their annual debt service payment is made during the fall. The next slide provides additional information for the individual housing projects. As of December 31st, 2025, the total principal debt payments outstanding is almost $395 million, and total interest outstanding is about $180 million, for a total outstanding debt amount of $575 million. Campuses did not express any concern regarding their individual student housing projects. The next slide shows the financial activity for non-housing projects for fiscal year 26. Non-housing projects would include student unions, parking garages, recreational facilities, athletics facilities, and similar projects. The first column shows that in total, campuses budgeted revenues of approximately $26.6 million, expenses of $11 million, annual debt obligations of $10.3 million, and a debt coverage ratio of 1.5. The second column shows the actual activity through December 31st, and the actual debt ratio at December 31st was better at 2.6 for all campuses. The next slide shows the non-housing financial activity through December 31st by campus, and you'll see that the ULL baseball stadium had a debt coverage ratio of 1.0, and this is also expected because the ULL Foundation reimburses the debt service for this project, and that reimbursement is the only revenue and the debt service is the only expense for this project. Campuses did not express any concern regarding their individual non-student housing projects. All management certifications are available for review in the system office. If individual university reports are needed, these are available upon request. This is a report only and no action by the board is necessary. The next item is item I6, and it's the UL Systems request for approval of payments made by nonprofit organizations to employees of the UL system during fiscal year 2025 in accordance with provisions of Louisiana Revised Statute 17, Section 3390. In your materials is a schedule of payments made by nonprofit organizations to employees of the University of Louisiana system for the fiscal year ended 2025. Louisiana Revised Statute requires that any single payment of over $1,000 made by a nonprofit organization to or on behalf of an employee or officer of a public higher education institution or management board be approved in writing by the appropriate management board in accordance with written policies and procedures. In accordance with PPM, board PPM, we are requesting that the board approve the schedule of payments made by nonprofit organizations to university employees during the fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. Individual campuses submit quarterly reports of the payments, and these have been compiled into the schedule.
This completes the finance agenda items, Mr. Bowles.
Thank you, Mr. Mesh and Ms. McIntyre, for your presentation. Do we have any questions? If no one requires further clarification, I would like to recommend approval of items I1, I2, I3, and I6. May I have a motion and a second? Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion by Supervisor Pierre and a second by Supervisor Davison. Are there any questions or comments from the board or any comments from the public? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. The next items to be considered are personnel.
Thank you, Chair Hogan. Chair Salim will address personnel items at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 5 items on the Personnel Committee agenda for consideration. Ms. Jackson will now present those items.
Thank you, Supervisor Salim. Item J1, McNeese State University, approval to appoint Dr. Jan Robichaud as interim dean of Burton College of Education, effective January 1st, 2026. Item J2, McNeese State University, approval to appoint Dr. Renee Malvo as interim dean of Student Success, effective January 5th, 2026. Item J3, Nicholls State University, approval to appoint Dr. Kimberly Reynolds as Dean of the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences, effective January 3rd, 2026. Item J4, Nicholls State University, approval to appoint Dr. Michelle Theriot as Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, effective January 3rd, 2026. Item J5, University of Louisiana at Lafayette, approval to appoint Dr. Andy Benoit as Vice President for Student Success, effective March 2nd, 2026. These are all the campus requests, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. I understand there might be some folks that wanted to address the board. Mike's all yours.
Thank you. Members of the board, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Renee Malvo as our interim dean of student success. Several of the programs that you heard me reference in my opening remarks, Dr. Malvo has had a key role, either by overseeing the program or being a partner to others who work with those programs. She came to us right at about a year ago. I think her anniversary is coming up pretty soon. And she joined our team working under our Title III federally funded grant and quickly showed why she would be a rising star at McNeese. Her past is as an educational leader in the K-12 Texas school system, and she brought that skill set of leadership and vision to McNeese and has really played a key role in our recent success. With certain changes that we needed to make upon our transition and ensuring that we had the appropriate amount of senior leadership in different areas of the Division of Student Affairs, it was no question that Dr. Malvo was positioned to be one of those leaders that we designated to elevate here at McNeese. So it is my honor to introduce her as our interim dean of student success.
Chair Romero, President Gallo, and members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to serve as interim dean of student success at McNeese State University. It is truly an honor to step into this role and to support and focus the important work that advances our students and our institution. I would also like to extend my appreciation to Dr. Nicholas, Dr. Buckles, and the executive leadership team for their trust and commitment to excellence. My gratitude extends to our dedicated teams in class, FYE, health and wellness, many of whom are sitting behind me, the Division of Student Affairs, Academic Affairs, and every department across the institution. The work taking place each day is meaningful, impactful, and centered on student achievement. McNeese is a special place because of its people. Most importantly, I want to express my sincere gratitude to our students for choosing to attend and graduate from McNeese State University. It is both an opportunity and a responsibility to advance student success through intentional support, strong academic partnerships, and a clear focus on retention and completion. Serving students is our privilege, and we remain steadfast in our commitment to delivering a life-changing higher education experience. I sincerely thank you for your consideration. It is an honor to ride for the brand, and go Pokes.
And then we would also like to announce Dr. Jan Robichaud as our interim dean of the Burton College of Education. Upon some changes that took place between the fall and spring semester, it was needed to add a visionary leader to the Burton College of Education, one that I'm extremely proud of because as an undergraduate student, I matriculated through that college. So I will allow Dr. Buckles to introduce Dr. Robichaud.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nicholas, and Chair Romero, System President Gallo, members of the supervisors of the board. I just thank you for this opportunity to present for your consideration Dr. Jan Robichaud for this position of interim dean of our College of Education, which also includes our School of Kinesiology. She is certainly qualified for this role, as she has the qualifications that we expect of a dean of a unit of this size and makeup, but also too, she brings with her what I consider unique qualifications and experiences. One, to include the MBA as a credential, but also too, as her work as assessment coordinator, which the title itself really doesn't speak to the whole role. In that role, there are many agencies and standards to navigate within our curriculum that can change periodically, and she has to be updated on those continuously. So it's a matter of just continual education for her, so she could communicate those changes and directions of our programs to people and programs, not just within her unit, but also to across the university for those programs which we call secondary ed, those programs that are found in other units and have to align with different accrediting agencies. And that work sounds mundane, but it's very difficult because it involves aligning competing interests. And people understand that, but the work is difficult. And I've found she has done this for many, many years. And I've found that through that, she is someone that listens very well and has built a high amount of trust, not just within her college, but across the university. And I would like to end with this one attribute that is very important in higher education. And I will say, to me professionally and personally as provost here at McNeese, last night we were discussing a recruiting event that she'll be traveling to tomorrow with her department head. And we expect several commits to our program through this recruiting endeavor. And it's just not just, well, one, I say that this was an evening call, that the work of a dean transcends normal working hours. This is just normal, accepted. That's one. And two, for events that are important, such as recruiting, it's not a one and done game. I mean, this was several months of engaging with administrators, with teachers, with parents that led up to this event. So the attribute that she has is that she works very hard, and I don't use that as just a cliche. She truly works hard, and that is something, as provost, I appreciate here at McNeese University.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Buckles. I would like to express my appreciation to the board for your consideration for the opportunity to serve as the interim dean for the Burton College of Education. Thank you also to Dr. Nicholas and to Dr. Buckles. They have been more than supportive throughout this process, and I greatly appreciate all of the assistance and the guidance that you both have given. As a faculty member in the Burton College of Education for the past 15 years, I have served in several roles. As Dr. Buckles said, I've served as an assistant department head within the accreditation office and as an advisor, as an instructor, all of the things. But I can honestly say that the opportunity to serve as the interim dean for the amazing students, the faculty, and the staff that we have within the Burton College of Education would truly be an honor and a privilege that I would embrace and that I really would look forward to. So thank you again for your consideration, and go Pokes.
Is there anyone from Nichols or Lafayette that wants to address the board? Okay.
Supervisor Salim, I'm aware that Dr. Benoit is in the process of returning to Louisiana, and he'll be at our April meeting, if you'd be so kind to have him then.
Okay, thank y'all for the presentation. If no one requires further clarification, I would like to recommend approval of items J1 through J5. May I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Any comments from the public? All in favor, then say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Any other business to come before the committee? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chair Salim. President Gallo, if you would present your report at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, campus personnel actions were provided and on board for your review. Staff has examined these requests and recommends approval. Do we have any questions on those? If not, Mr. Chairman, I would ask for a motion and second to approve those personnel matters.
If we could have a motion and a second at this time. Moved by Supervisor Russell,
Second.
second by Supervisor Davison. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to provide an update on the UL Lafayette presidential search. This week, we hosted 3 well-qualified semifinalists for the presidency of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Following those interviews, one candidate was selected to move forward as a finalist, interim president, Dr. Ramesh Kolaru. Dr. Kolaru will interview with the entire board tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the Claiborne Building in Baton Rouge. We look forward to concluding this search and naming the 7th president of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. I'd also like to update on the recent Washington, D.C. Mardi Gras, our student delegation. Despite the winter weather last month, Dr. Calais and our student delegation were able to travel to Washington, D.C. for Washington Mardi Gras. The students met with members of Louisiana's congressional delegation and other federal officials, engaging in thoughtful conversation about higher education and work taking place across our campuses. They represented their universities and our system exceptionally well. On March 11th, the Academic Honors Day will be held at the Raising Cane's Center in Baton Rouge. This event brings together some of Louisiana's highest achieving high school students and provides our institutions with the opportunity to recognize academic excellence as students consider their next step in higher education. The UL System Day at the Capitol will be held on March 24th. This event showcases the work of our universities and highlights the accomplishments of faculty, staff, and students. It also provides an opportunity to acknowledge the continued partnership and support of policymakers across our state. And we're certainly grateful to Rich Bath on our team, who is leading that initiative, and we're looking forward to an exciting UL System Day. The UL System Academic Summit will be hosted this year by Southeastern Louisiana University on April 16th and 17th. The summit celebrates academic excellence, research, and creative activity across our institutions and provides a meaningful forum for collaboration and the exchange of ideas that strengthen our universities. And certainly want to thank Dr. Wainwright and his team from Southeastern for hosting the Academic Summit. And I certainly want to encourage members of the board to make it a point to go and see our students in action. Immediately following today's board meeting, we will convene the inaugural meeting of the System Integration and Transformation Task Force. The purpose of this task force is to formally begin the next phase of the University of Louisiana System's modernization efforts. Its charge is to examine opportunities to strengthen system-wide alignment, enhance operational efficiency, improve financial sustainability, and advance a more integrated enterprise model while preserving the distinct missions and identities of our campuses. The task force will focus on shared services, financial benchmarks, data governance, structural sustainability, and long-term strategic positioning. It will develop recommendations and implementation pathways for board consideration in the upcoming months. This work is foundational to ensuring that the UL system remains financially strong, strategically coordinated, and positioned to serve Louisiana's students and workforce for generations to come. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, President Gallo. At this time, we have interest in having discussion around litigation matters and receiving an update from counsel. I would ask that the board meet in executive session pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 4217 to discuss those legal matters. While in executive session, the board may meet with its staff, legal counsel, and others it deems necessary. No motions or other action may be taken while we're in executive session. Eric, if you could please make a roll call vote.
Yes.
I'm sorry, can I have a motion and a second to proceed in executive session?
Make the motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Stevens, second by Russell. All in favor will be a roll call.
I think we have to do a roll call vote, sir. Mr. Steve Davidson,
Yes.
Mr. Ronald Hogan,
Yes.
Dr. Joe Leatherman,
Yes.
Mr. Keith Myers,
Yes.
Miss Maria Nachiva,
Yes.
Miss Elizabeth Pierre,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Romero,
Yes.
Miss Christine Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Robert Saline,
Yes.
Mr. Brad Stevens.
Yes.
It is unanimous.
Thank you. We'll adjourn to executive session.
President ought to come in and talk about USA stuff.
Yes, sir.
Just have them hang in the hall until we get to it.
I'm sure it won't be
We got,
long.
yeah, we don't have much else, do
Yeah,
we?
I think
One
there's
more update, maybe?
other couple of things they got. Won't be much. Okay. Turn it back to open session.
The Board of Supervisors of the University of Louisiana System met in executive session to discuss legal matters. While in executive session, no motions were made nor votes taken. Is there a motion to reconvene in open session? Moved by Supervisor Russell, second by Supervisor Stevens. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Any other comments? Thank you all for your patience.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to authorize System Council to compromise and settle Rennie versus Board of Supervisors and UNO up to $50,000 inclusive of cost.
We have a motion by Supervisor Stevens, second by Supervisor Pierre. Any questions or comments? Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There being no other business, did want to share that we're approaching the point where we'll need to file our annual disclosure statements with the Board of Ethics. Carol's going to send you a form with instructions to do so. It's due in May. I would encourage you to contact her if you have any questions or need any assistance in taking steps to comply with that requirement. We are in the process of finalizing our preparations to announce a search for the McNeese State University president. Pretty exciting opportunity to go forward. Look forward to seeing you back on this campus in the coming months. We'll provide a press release that'll make that announcement. And again, announcing the members of the committee and the timeline. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to discuss those with you. And certainly we can get together in the very near future, making those announcements. For those of you who are able, I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow as we wrap up and have a special board meeting to appoint the University of Louisiana at Lafayette's 7th president. We will be meeting in Baton Rouge. There being no business before, no other business.
One thing, for those who are here for the task force meeting, once we adjourn, they'll turn the room and set it up for the task force. So just be patient. We'll get it set up and we'll roll right into the task force meeting. So thank you all for your patience and for being here. Looking forward to the inaugural task force meeting.
Thank you, Mr. President. No other business before the board. May I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Supervisor Nachaga, second by all in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
The same to the